Right now what we're looking at is Google Docs, and this will serve as a beginner's guide. This is sort of a new program for me that I've only been using in the past couple months here, but this will get you started so you can start exploring and taking a look. What Google Docs is, or Google Documents, basically it's like the Microsoft suite of Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. It's that only it's all stored on the internet, as you've seen from some of the videos that you've watched up at this point, and it's free, which makes it all the more amazing, and it's a lot more versatile when it comes to collaboration. So I'm going to go through some of the basic details now that you're inside of Google Docs. We'll start over here at some of the options that we have. Create New. If we look at that, you click on that, you can either make a document, which is like a word processing document, a presentation like PowerPoint, a spreadsheet, which would be like Excel, or a form, which you would have seen one of the quizzes that I made to get some feedback on. You can make these quizzes as well. Also, there is Drawing, which is a program we are not going to talk about. You can feel free to take a look at that. Or Collection. A collection is the same as folder, so you can put your documents in folders. This button right here, Upload, you can take files from your computer and upload them in to Google Docs just by clicking on Upload and Files. And you could load them so you can see it's going straight from my desktop. I can choose where I want to pull those files from. One thing that to point out to you is if files that are that you make in Pages, which is on your Mac, the Pages program, if you upload those up to Google Docs, they are not able to be edited. So that's something they can be viewed, but they cannot be edited. That's something I discovered the hard way. Okay, so what you're seeing right now are all of the documents that I have, either that I've created or ones that I am sharing, ones that I've found online that are great resources that I want to take a look at, but they are shared by other people. You can see some other names here. And that means I won't have a lot of the powers to go back and edit and do these sort of things, but I can make a copy of these that I would be able to keep. So even if they decide they don't want it to be public access, I could go in and I could download it. I could do some things with it, including just getting rid of it altogether. That's something to keep in mind. Up here, this works just like the Google search bar. I can search for a document once I get quite a few. If I'm having trouble finding one, I could simply put it in. If I wanted to look at the documents that are owned by me, once I've created, I click on the Owned by Me, and you can see the documents that I personally have control over. Some of these you see that say Boot Camp Training next to it. Collections is like folders, so I've created a folder or a collection called Boot Camp, so that shows me that those documents are in that folder. If I just want to see those documents, I click on Boot Camp Training and it'll bring just those documents up. But for now, what I want to do is I just want to have all of my documents viewable. So the next thing I want to talk about is what makes this just really amazing. Let me click on this. I'm going to start with a new document. So I'd go over to Create New Document, and voila, you can see it looks very much like Microsoft Word, and many of the functions are exactly like Microsoft Word, from the top bar here to some of the editing things. Note this link key, which you now know how to use with the Command Copy, Command V feature, where you can create links from other pages, insert images, do bulleted lists, indents, centering up on the page. Right here is where I can change the title, so I'm going to call this Example. And there it is. Now, let's start talking about what makes this different from Microsoft Word or other word processing programs. This right here, you see it says Private to Me, meaning right now the set, when you create a document, it automatically is set that only people granted permission can access. So what I want to do is I'm going to click on that, and it gives me several other choices. So I could go in right now and put in Miss Nass and share this with her. Something that we're looking at to share, and I can give her permission right here to edit or just to view. I trust her. I'm going to give her the chance to edit. I can say, in here, hey, take a look, and send it off, and it will automatically send this to her. Other things you can do is right here where it says Private, you can click Change, and I have the choice to make it public on the web, meaning that anyone anywhere can find this. They can search, and since it is a website, every document basically is a website in itself, they might be able to find that document. This might be something you do at some point. The one I'm usually using is this anyone with the link, meaning I would be able to create a document, copy and paste that link into, let's say, a My Big Campus assignment, and then send that out to my students, and they would then click on that link in their assignment, and it would bring them to the document I want them to look at. In the same way, a student could turn in a link to you and have you join their document to take a look, where you could grade it and make comments on it. I would want to decide whether I'm going to allow anyone to edit. I usually don't. With students, with some of this collaborative process, you might have a document that everyone in the class is working on at the same time or adding their information to. So keep that in mind as something else you can use as a tool. So I'm going to keep it there with anyone with a link and save it. And what it does right here is it gives me, this is what the web address is. So I could simply Command C, and then take it to wherever I want to paste it inside my MyBigCampus document, or posting it to my page in Command V, and I could paste that or link that into MyBigCampus. So you can see right now, I could call this document Things to Do Before the End of the Year, and I'm collaborating right now with Ms. Nass. I have her on, and she's viewing it. You can see up here right now. And I can chat with her. So you can see as it turns green that I can see the things that she's putting in as she types. And the reason her name is up over here twice is because she's now logged into it 2 times on her computer, so it'll come up twice. And that she is logged into Google Docs, so I am seeing her username. And I could be working at the same time that she's working and editing the stuff she's putting in. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a bullet here, and I see that she's lost the bullet, so I'm going to put it in there. That's more for me. Again, you can kind of see the function of how you could work at documents at the same time live, and that's, again, another example of the collaboration you could do. What I'm going to do now is I want to pull up a existing document that shows you some of the other collaborative possibilities. One document that I mean some of our middle school teachers we collaborated on was on MyBigCampus. We were going to talk with them and see what we really wanted and how we wanted to use this. So what I did is I created a document, and they went in and started making choices, and we see X's, that's ones that other people agreed with. Now, if I'm a teacher, these are my students who've been asked to give input onto this. Another great thing about Google Docs is I can go over here to File, and I can go to See Revision History. And it's going to show me every version of a document that there's been. It saves up here automatically every few seconds. So it's going to show me that anytime there was a change made, it'll keep that for me. So let's say we have students working in a group, and one student comes in and just is going to hose everybody else by deleting the entire thing. Well, you can go back, and if I click on a version from May 6 at 8:35, I could restore this version as the owner of that document, which obviously this is a great thing, because especially if someone comes in and erases something that you really wanted, it's real simple. Just go back and restore. Also, as a teacher, I can use this because I could go through at the revisions and take a look at who's made comments. It's color coded, so you can see the green that I added this in. All of your students will log in when they use these, so it will have their names. You'll see some of these say Mr. Carter's using a personal account, but some of these say unknown. What that is it's just because this was open to anyone with the link, and they didn't have to log in. So they were able to make comments and make changes because the way I had that set. So all of your students will be logging in, so you'll know exactly what student made what comments. Now, I'm going to close this out. So that's just an example of some of the collaborative natures of the Google Docs. Another thing that I think teachers will like, my wife is a language arts teacher, and I was showing her this, and she's bringing home all these papers, and the kids will print out first draft, and we'll have 5 pages, and second draft, 5 more pages they have to print out. Well, if a student gives you access in this, and they share the document with you, and you're reading through it, all you would need to do is go through and highlight it, and then I can go to Insert, Comment. And right over it has my name, and it could say, take another look at this. And I simply post. And you can see I've put another comment up here. I was practicing with them. If I have more than one student looking at it, they could see it, or that one student can see my suggestions. They could go through and make those changes, and when they're done, they can throw out my comments. And so when we talk about revisions, they'll just keep sending you, and it's the same exact link. That link never will change. So it's not like we're getting into this problem with files and which file of this do I have? Which do I have the latest version? No, the one that's on is the latest version, and that link will always be the latest version. Another great way to use this would be if you're using peer editing. Peers could go on and they could make comments on that student's writing and their work, and then you could go back. And if you're going to grade that, it'd be very easy for you to go back and just look down the side and look at the comments they made for that document. Also keep in mind that we could have students working in groups, and we could have 4 or 5 students working at the same document at the same time. And as changes are made, things are being typed in, they would be able to see that live, those things happening. So as we're going to practice, you could have a what do we know about Greek mythology, and then they go through and they have bullets and they start putting in everything that they know. They're all working at the same time and they're seeing the progress the other students are making. One other thing I want to show you, and I'm going to go back in to the main file, is the form, and I have a video attached that you can go in and take a look at. It's very quick, but it gives you good information. This is where we can just create questions, and if you've ever used SurveyMonkey, it's very similar to that. You go through, I could type in, what is your favorite season? And I could choose many different questions. They could be a paragraph text where they're going to put in a few sentences, multiple choice, checkboxes, list, scale, grid. I go through, and once I have that, I go on to the next one, and I can put in my next question. Very easy to use, and I do want to show you what that looks like. What I'm going to do right now is pull up the one that I had you guys look at when you exited. So this is what it looks like in the basic form. If I wanted to look at this live, I would go to Form and go to Live Form, and that should look familiar to you. But what I'm going to do instead is go to Form and go to Show Summary of Responses. And so you can see what it does is it go ahead and breaks it down and makes it very visual for you, so you can get immediate feedback on where your students are. So let's say we have this idea of an exit ticket that you give at the end of class, so you can see how much the students absorbed, how much they took in, how much what do you need to cover. Or halfway through class, you give this a short 5-question quiz. You send them the link to this form, they take it, and right away you see what they got, what they didn't, and you can go back and reteach immediately. So it makes that very powerful, that idea that you can get immediate feedback from your students at whatever level that they are at. And this is a summary of Google Docs, and go ahead now and get started and start playing.